Breeders' Cup weekend is upon us. Using the promo code BC19, a match promotion up to $200 plus a $25 risk-free bet on the Breeders' Cup Juvenile or the Breeders' Cup Classic. Also, as the first race will be showing, is the Juvenile Turf Sprint, a 10% winner's bonus on all trifectas in any sprint race during Breeders' Cup weekend. Andy Serling discussing the Breeders' Cup races out at Santa Anita, the first Breeders' Cup race, the relatively new Juvenile Turf Sprint. 5 furlongs at Santa Anita, not down the hill. It's 5 furlongs, all the turf sprints, and there are 2 of them, of course, are 5 furlongs now at Santa Anita. Here is the field. There are 4 also eligibles, but we'll focus on the horses in the body of the race. And I don't think it's a big surprise that Wesley Ward holds a very, very strong hand, as he has 3 contenders. And Wesley Ward, he has been brilliant, especially with the Juvenile Turf Sprinters. And the one that's the horse to beat is 4-wheel drive. Now, we'll take a look at 4-wheel drive dominating a field in the Futurity at Belmont. You see him kicking it up a little bit. Now, that horse had a little give in it. But 4-wheel drive has been very impressive in both his starts, and he does appear to be the horse to beat in this race. I'm not taking a big stand against this horse. He was just a dominant winner of this race, and I actually think the horses that are finishing behind him, particularly that's coming back in this race, which actually includes another Miracle, who had been terrific in a prior turf sprint at Saratoga, I think that 4-wheel drive is the horse to beat. But Wesley Ward has other players in here, including the filly, Kamari, and no surprise to see him running the fillies against the boys in this race, as he does it all year round. And Kamari, who's shown a lot of speed and close to the pace and took a brutal beat in a 25-horse field at Royal Ascot, which lost by a head. This race, she didn't get left in here. She just sort of dropped out. She broke a step slow, but dropped back to the back of the field. She can win from the front end. She can win from behind. And Wesley's got quite a complement of horses. Not a bad performance by Chimney Rock, and we'll see Chimney Rock for Mike Maker in the next video as well. Chimney Rock has done well. Now, I think Kamari is probably a cut below 4-wheel drive for Wesley Ward. They're a pretty strong tandem, but I do prefer 4-wheel drive of these 2. But I don't want to completely dismiss Cambria as well, who is the next entrant from the Wesley Ward group. And I got to think Mike Maker is a little bit sick of Wesley Ward, especially in these turf sprints, because poor Chimney Rock, who broke his maiden at Saratoga, finished second behind him to 2 different horses, this time at Kentucky Downs. And thought Cambria ran well in here, got a very good trip overall, but did have a little bit of trouble early in the race, to be honest. And I think what's nice with these horses, they've shown sort of adaptability. They can be close and they can close, and these horses do not need the lead to win. But you have to think in these 5 furlong races at Santa Anita, being forward is going to be a big advantage. I do prefer of these, like many people, 4-wheel drive. But let's talk about Europeans. And the European that needs to be discussed in this race is Ali. Ali won the last race, the Flying Childers Stakes, a Group 2, and beat Dreamshot. And Dreamshot's coming back as well. I'm not Dreamshot's biggest fan, and the favorite in this race, Alligator Alley, who's running in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf Sprint also, we'll talk about him in a moment, he didn't really show up in this race, but Ali did. And it's not like Ali is some sort of bum that got lucky in the race. He actually had won 2 of his first 3 starts, the second, before running in the tough Grade 1 Prix Mornay. Didn't get the job done behind Earthlight, who's one of the top European 2-year-olds this year. Ali is a big-time player in this race. We'll see, and he can be close enough to the pace. Have to mention Alligator Alley as well, another European. He had run very well in prior races, and he was second in Group 3. He was favored in the race. We just got even money, and he did not show up. But before that, he had run well, and actually had run in a race earlier where he had to fight through traffic and ran very well to be second. So I don't totally dismiss him either. But I'm not trying to start my day off by beating Wesley Ward in the turf sprint. 4-wheel drive is my top choice in this race. That's the number 9. The number 10, Ali. The number 7, Kamari, the filly for Wesley Ward. And a juvenile we didn't talk about, King Neptune for Aidan O'Brien. Got him 4th. He hasn't really been getting the job done. He's just 1 for 9, but he did run in a very tough race last time, also behind Earthlight, and ran reasonably well, starting off the day in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf Sprint, 9-10, 7-11. And remember, you want to play all these races, you want to play them through NYRA bets. BC19, $200 match bonus and a $25 risk-free Breeders' Cup bet. And as this is a sprint, a $10 bonus on all trifecta wagers. Best of luck in this and all the Breeders' Cup races.